Don't ask me complicated questions. I'm like you said.
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
Okay, there we go.
Right.
Rolling.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're very welcome.
But we have to set this one up where everything
Sure.
everybody can
Do whatever.
work it.
If you have a headset?
No, but I can hear you two talking, so it works out.
So this one will be used by one of them, right?
Which one?
This one.
What do you want to do?
Oh.
No,
They
just,
will be
yeah, they're right there for Sonia.
for Joy, you mean?
Or for Joe, yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. And then when we're done with them, you can switch them out for the other guests you have here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. When did you move to this facility?
I think April of 2011.
It's been a couple of years now. The last time I was at KLAV was over in the old district.
So where?
It was over in the old part of town. And
Oh yeah,
that old-
next to the Stratosphere.
It was close to that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a little house.
Little house,
Mhm.
yeah.
This is really nice.
Oh,
Lisa Lupo, do you know her?
That's right. Yes.
And her husband, I forget his name.
Tony.
Tony Lupo.
Tony Lupo,
And
yes.
I think she was general manager here at that time. Or
That's
some
right.
years back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, this one cannot take all the people. I think.
No, no.
Well, you don't need me in there, just you two.
But Joy's also here.
Well, she can take his seat at 6:30.
No.
You don't
See, that's
want-
why Irma
Yeah.
wanted that, because
Hey, look,
this one
I
really.
can see you already here on these screens.
Who's coming in at 6:30? Joy?
No, my co-host. She's supposed to be here by now, but. There's a few that's still.
And do fire your questions at me, as you wish.
Yeah. Or intro. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm, but I'm not getting sound though for some reason.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I brought my best friend with
This is
me.
my co-host,
Hi there, Joy.
Andy and
How are
Phyllis
you?
Anderson.
Nice to meet you guys.
I actually saw
Joy.
pictures of you guys
This
earlier
is
on your webpage.
Gabriel, my best friend.
Where's your guest?
It's on her phone. She's calling from
Oh,
Connecticut.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Who's this young man here?
Gabriel.
Gabriel, how are you? Andy Anderson.
Oh, I didn't know she was
My
on
wife
the phone.
Phyllis.
I'm honestly.
Hi, Gabe.
How are you? We're all here.
You gonna put Gabe on the air too?
Huh?
You gonna put Gabe on the air too?
No, he's here to keep me company.
He was a guest couple Saturdays
Oh, it was?
about
Okay.
school, because you know
Oh,
how
okay.
school is, you know.
Sure.
We are
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Video looks fine. I can see them. Eventually, I'll see you tinkering on the computer, but I'm listening to Q here, and I don't hear anything in the Q for audio. I'll pull that microphone as close to you as possible. Either lean in or pull it to you, whatever you're comfortable with. One of those.
What?
Oh no, I can see you tinkering around with it, but
Oh.
is that it? Because are you getting any audio at all?
You can take the folder. You can take the folder. Can you grab it for me? You know where it is, right? Yes. Don't forget to lock the door, please.
You're gonna pop me down.
There's a knob right there on the where it's attached to. Bottom left. Bottom. Underneath. So. There you are. Far left. Far left.
I don't know what you're looking at.
There you go.
It's over there.
That's it. Uh-huh.
So,
A lot?
Down, 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 down.
how's the,
I'm not,
Okay. That helps.
Well, if it's getting the audio from the headphone jack, would it only hear stuff that's coming to the board?
Yes.
So would it only get audio once they start talking on the mic?
But shouldn't you get the KLAC right now?
With your host, Kevin Kraft.
Oh. Hmm.
You're on in 1 minute.
We're gonna do the 143 at the for my thought of the day.
Oh, I'll ask you during the break. Is it the name of the group or the song? 143.
That's the song 143 by Abby Bracken.
Okay. I'm playing the promo before the show starts. 143 Bobby Bracken.
I actually want to look at something a little more.
Anything?
No. I have it in queue. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Good show, everybody.
Views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the host and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of KLAV.
Thank you for tuning in to our show. Now we're talking with Sonia and Roy. This is Sonia Lising-Cahalan inviting you to listen to our show every Saturday, 6 to 7 p.m. You are in for a good time, lots of love and high energy. We will talk about health, hot topics, some current events, special guests, a touch of fashion, beauty and fitness, and much more. So please call in and join us. We want to hear from you. Be a part of the show and have a full blast of fun and entertainment. Please call at 702-731-1230 or toll free 1-866-820-KLAV or live stream at KLAV1230am.com. Brought to you by Longevity 90 for Life and Youth Life Las Vegas Team.
Good evening, everybody. Monsoon season is finally over, and it's a beautiful night here in Las Vegas, and we are delighted to be here on our normal time. Thank you so much to all our loyal fans who constantly listen to us week after week to our show. Now You're Talking with Sonia and Joy. Hopefully we won't change our regular time anytime soon. Again, our sincerest gratitude to all of you. You know we love you and we love to talk, and it's always a great pleasure to make your evening a little exciting. Stay with us for an hour of fun and entertainment. This is your host, Sonia Lising-Cahalan.
I'm Joy, your co-host at KLAV 1230 AM, the Talk of Las Vegas, inviting you all to call us at 702-731-1230 or send us an email at nowyourtalkingshow@gmail.com. Thank you to those who have called in and sent emails, and thank you to those who are still thinking about it. We love you. Just so you know, if you are going out of town or leaving the country, you can tune in online at www.klav1230am.com. We live stream every Saturday from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the world to listen. To know more about our guest, our show, or about us, follow us and like us on Facebook at Now You're Talking. We are also on Twitter at #NYTS. Good evening, folks. Another night of longevity and fungevity. Another happy Saturday and one of the biggest betting weekend in Las Vegas. There's the sold-out title fight between Mayweather and Canelo tonight. In addition,
the most anticipated college football game of the season, Alabama at Texas A&M, and an NFL primetime showdown between San Francisco and Seattle. How can you top that? Parties happening everywhere this weekend. A lot of electricity in the air. Electrifying. But please keep safe and out of trouble. Friends, don't let friends drink and drive. Sonia, are you ready to rock and roll?
I am. Join our guests for tonight are Andy Anderson and Phyllis Anderson, who is here in the studio tonight, and Sandra Champlain. She's going to be calling in, right?
That's right, Sonia.
Andy Anderson, why don't you introduce yourself, Andy?
Well, hi all, and what a fun invitation. We share something in common, and we'll spend a little bit of time discussing a rather marvelous company called Youngevity, which my wife and I have been involved with it since 1997. We actually came on board about 60 days after it started. It was originally American Longevity, but the company has become international, and so they chose to change the name to Youngevity and 90 for life.
Right.
But I really would like to emphasize something. Instead of all the people coming to Las Vegas to spend their money, I'd like to take a little bit of time, and I'd like to encourage those listening. My wife and I's principle was really pretty simple. You either believe in free enterprise, or you work for somebody else who does.
Right.
And this is the United States of America, and this is a country that revolves around business. And that wonderful opportunity is available to all of us. And yeah, it takes a little risk, and it can be a little scary, and you may not succeed the first time, but there's an old thing that used to be commonly said: if you have job security, you realize that's a non sequitur. There's no such thing as job security. You lose your job, you lost your security. So we Americans have a better opportunity that when we begin to think in terms of owning our own businesses, we have more control over our lives, and certainly have more control over the amount of money we may make.
And also our time.
Exactly correct, and it creates lifestyle. And we've been going through something quite difficult over the last few years with the real estate market and the economy and the regretful federal control over the economy in this country. And that's created so many problems for us. But with that in mind, I want to emphasize a company that Sonia and I are involved with called Youngevity. And this is quite an incredible company, and if I can, I'll tell you just, I'll try to make a long story as short as I possibly can.
Okay.
But I got involved originally because Dr. Joel Wallach, who was sort of the original inspiration for the Youngevity company, Dr. Wallach is a veterinarian and a physician, and he's written numerous books. In fact, he used to be the veterinarian for, I can't think. Marlon Perkins in Mutual of Omaha. He was Dr. Marlon Perkins' big animal veterinarian for many, many, many years. And I was doing a radio show in California which became the syndicator for Doc Wallach's radio program, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And at that same time, got to know the owner of the radio station, Michael Zwirling, and who asked me that he and Doc had hammered out an agreement to syndicate Doc's radio program, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And I was asked if I would get involved in what's called Korean stations to air Doc's program. And I know what I was going to get into. I probably wouldn't have done it. It's pretty difficult. But nonetheless, I did frankly, very, very well with it. It took me a little while to figure, and the radio industry is a kind of a neat industry. I like the people in radio. I really
You had a radio show before.
I was doing radio at that same time. And it was just about right in that same time frame, yes. Anyway, I finally started checking the bush a little bit and finding a home for Doc's radio program, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And I'll cut this down to two examples of why my wife and I have been involved in this for 16 years.
Wow. 16 years.
I heard Doc Wallach. He has that tape, Dead Doctors Don't Lie tape, and I think he sold about 70 million of them, and now they're all CDs. But I heard Doc Wallach make a lot of claims. Anybody can make claims. But my real interest in the program was his alternative health approach to things, which was very appealing to me. But he made some pretty big claims. For instance, he stated that he could get diabetics off of insulin. I'm not diabetic, but an awful lot of people are, and I do know it's a very serious disease.
Right.
So you have a monkey with diabetes. Well, I set up a radio station in Northern California to air Doc's program, and what we would do is when I would set these various radio stations up, then we would bring Doc in where he would do his famous Dead Doctors Don't Lie talk. And we went up to Northern California, and one of the little towns that we went into, that we would always do a Friday for Doc and then a Saturday. We'd try to cover as much environment as we could. And we'd have the radio station promoted, so we didn't have any promotion costs because we'd actually set the radio station up as a distributor, just like we are. And that's how they got paid. Never before done a radio, nothing quite like this. We created a whole new revenue stream for radio. And so anyway, and in those days, Phyllis used to take the calls. I mean, she got to know these people personally, because it's like a big family. Anyway, we were up in Northern California, and it was on Saturday night, and when Doc was finished, this lovely woman came up, grinning ear to ear, and said, introduce yourself. Phyllis knew who she was. I had not met her. And she said, I don't need insulin anymore. And that got my attention. That, wait a minute, there's something to this. Because, I mean, we're not peddling one-a-day brand in Centrum. I mean, I heard Doc talk about nutritional formulas. And if they get in the bloodstream, the body will repair itself. It's got to get in the bloodstream. So that really got my attention. I started paying more attention to it. Then I set up, among many stations I set up, which I set a lot of them up, but another one was in Pueblo, Colorado. By the way, we're still on the air. This is 16 years ago. We're still airing Doc's program. And a fellow there, we brought Doc in at a huge turnout, 900 people. I think we wrote about $20,000 worth of revenue that night, if not more. So some weeks later, again, Phyllis was taking the calls, and I happened to be home when this fellow named Walt called and wanted to talk to Phyllis, and she wasn't there, and he said, Andy, this is a miracle. He said, 6 weeks ago I couldn't walk across the living room floor. I was scheduled to have both knees replaced.
Oh my God.
He said, I'm going horseback riding with my daughter-in-law this weekend.
Oh, wow.
Now, this is Walt. Walt's about 83 right now. This is 15 years ago. He still hasn't had his knees replaced. Well, what I'm getting at here, we're part of a company that is so cut above in terms of alternative health and the effectiveness of it, and the high cost of drugs and the ineffectiveness of it, and the whole medical world is upside down right now. That alternative health is a very good approach to it, in particular if you get involved with longevity. Because the formulas that Doc Wallach and many other people have put together work. Now, one of the things that we have, which is so unique, in the meantime, let's just say you called me, let's just use diabetes, because it's such a prevalent disease, terrible disease. My wife and I wouldn't be skilled to answer any questions in terms of that. In other words, we wouldn't prescribe or diagnose. We wouldn't do that. And what we would do is that we would either have you call Doc Wallach in his live radio show, or we'd have you call Dr. Peter Glidden or pharmacist Ben Fuchs, because they're medical professionals. And they can advise, and then they get back with us. And so it's a two-step type of thing. And like I said, we've been...
So they call you on the radio and tell you about their diseases and...
Exactly. We kind of know where to direct people. Not enough when you've been doing this for 16 years. I already kind of know what a doc is going to recommend for you. However, we're not doctors. And for instance, if you're diabetic, you're probably taking 5 or 6 medications. We're not skilled to deal with any interactions. It would be irresponsible for us, so we don't do that. But we can then get you in touch with medical professionals that can advise. And the reason we're still doing this are the marvelous things that we have seen over 16 years. And it's because of the uniqueness of the nutritional products that are available through longevity. And most people take nutrition every day. They take one-a-day brand and certain kind of thing. And they're okay, but they're not meant to heal. And especially with the minimum data requirements that have been set by the government, which are so minimal, you're not going to see any benefits. I mean, people take this stuff, but they never notice anything. But when you get into something, and can I give a couple little health tips? Would you mind if I?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Well, see, I can go like spokes on a wheel. I can go in so many different directions on this thing. But I want those listening to please pay attention to what I'm about to say to you. About 40% of the people that we deal with have something called acid reflux. At least 40%, now if you're listening and you have it, I want you to listen to me very carefully. People, when they go to the doctor says to you, well, you got too much stomach acid. No, you don't. You don't have any stomach acid. What happened is you've eaten a meal, and that meal is in your stomach and it's rotting.
Oh.
It's creating an acid. It's not stomach acid. And the body, the genius of the body is that it recognizes this foreign entity, and it naturally wants to expel it, because it doesn't belong in the body. But the doctors gave you your Nexium and the purple pill and the Tagament and all the various, some are pharmaceuticals and some are over the counter. What you don't realize, if you're taking that stuff, you're headed for serious trouble, because there's no digestion.
Wow, so it's actually...
Even if there is any nutrition in the food you're eating, which unfortunately is very little nutrition in the food, and if you take processed foods, there's virtually none. But if it doesn't get in your blood, if the nutrition doesn't get in your blood, every day your body breaks down, and it has to be rebuilt every day. This is where Dr. Wallach has clearly established that every human being has to have 90 nutrients every day. Has to have. Because all the effects of the environment and bad food and rancid foods and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Andy, we'll get back to you in a minute. We're going to go on our break after this message. Please stick around. That's very interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I have lots to say.
Yeah. Well, the first time I've heard about acid reflux is when my kid was a newborn kid who told me that he's got acid reflux, so he's not taking any formula. And I said, what the hell's that,
Well, it could be that, and or it could be
because I'm trying to figure, it's taking the feed from the laptop. I want to see if we can get the feed from the station, because it sounds like a... trying to figure out the audio, I can watch you guys.
Right.
Well, we're looking glad to watch.
That's true.
Well, I want to hear more of that.
Okay.
Wow, it's like putting your food in the refrigerator and then it creates bacteria and it goes bad.
Well, I'll tell you a true story that this was not long ago. I'll wait till I get on the air. A woman who just died from acid reflux.
Oh, Josie has that.
Well, she should be listening right now.
And the medications actually suppress your ability to make stuff.
Oh, the
So you-
and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Stand by.
Yeah.
I'll meet at 6:30. 6:30.
Yes, longevity forever. Live younger, look younger, feel younger. Don't hesitate to call if you want any of these awesome products. We are coming back with I was calling you doctor. Well, you might as well be a doctor. Andy Anderson. Okay, I want to hear more about this acid reflux.
You bet, because it's very, very serious. I was just mentioning that we were in north of here, we're obviously in Las Vegas, but maybe 100 miles north of here with some people that own an antique store over there. And we were discussing this very thing, and they had a friend, a woman who just died of acid reflux. And what happened to it is, because when you belch, it belches that acid up into your throat. And it can actually get, you've swallowed things and it's gotten into the wrong, you swallow the wrong, down the wrong pipe. That's the old expression.
Right.
Anyway, it got into her left lung and got infected, and it killed her.
Oh my goodness.
So again, I'm saying these things because I want you to take notice of what I'm trying to say. Our mothers told us all and it continues to further break down, but it gets to be so tiny, the nutrients, then the body can draw them up into the bloodstream, and then it can be dispersed throughout the body to heal it. So when you disrupt this digestion, you're headed for trouble. Any number of terrible diseases or things can affect you. Digestion. It's just
we take that for granted. I mean, we just keep on eating and swallowing and
exactly correct. And then in addition to that, you want to, and this is firstly becoming very, very popular, and that is you need what we call probiotics. There's a bacterial war going on in your lower intestinal tract. You got the bad ones and the good ones. There's a constant battle taking place. And acidophilus and bifidus, which you get in yogurt and stuff, is good. It's good, but it's not sufficient. Then you want a probiotic with at least 11 or 12 good bacterial strains in it, which of course Youngevity has. Everything Youngevity has is so superior to anything you're going to buy elsewhere. So with that in mind, once you get digestion together, then there's a couple good things, and I don't mind me rattling on here.
No, go ahead.
It is very interesting, yes.
Well, it's just if you want to add a lot of life to your health, completely cut out fried food. No donuts, no potato chips, no French fries, Gabriel.
He's like shaking his head like,
What you have to understand, when you heat oil up, and you never cook with anything but butter when you're cooking. Never, ever cook in anything but butter.
Coconut oil, you heat it up and it
How about extra virgin olive oil?
Absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not.
That's what I cook
No,
everything
no,
with.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, butter, don't burn it. That's all. And you will add greatly to your overall health. There's a chemical in it called acrylamide, and you have to understand these are what they call free radicals. I know it's a real popular term right now, but free radicals basically get in your cells. And each of us has a certain area where we're kind of weak, and those cells will break down, and everybody is different. And then what you want to counter that, of course, the antioxidants that get into the blood to get rid of the free radicals. So there's this constant battle. I have, as you see here, I have something.
I see that.
I have a drink in front of me that the
Is that the BT and Austria effect and all that?
Yeah, and the ORAC value on this drink for every serving is it's a number. In this case, it's about 8,000.
Right.
It's about 8,000.
Yeah.
We have dark chocolate.
Yep.
Called wow, you're right.
Triple tree.
It has an ORAC value of 17,000
You should
per
try that if you're
one
a chocolate
little
lover.
chip. And it's what Doc Wallach wants for anyone who's dealing with cancer. Because he wants 100,000 ORAC value. If you're dealing with cancer, you want to give your body the antioxidants to fight back. It's all about cell destruction. So you want to give the body everything it can fight with. So that's Youngevity, why we've been doing it for so long. I'm looking at the clock here. I feel like I'm really dominating the half hour.
No.
But
You haven't taken the time.
we've been at it for so long. Yeah, this is a marvelous
Since
company.
1997.
1997.
1997.
And we've done very well with it, and it's got a marvelous business plan. Well, I'll tell you something very unique. Unlike so many companies, if people want to come on board, I hope they will contact you guys. To get involved with Youngevity and be on the business side of it, it's going to cost you $10.
Right.
$10. Now, we have a lot of other things that can be added. Well, most companies, I shouldn't say most, lots of companies, what they want you to do is they want to fill your garage up. They want you to put a lot of money out, several thousands of dollars, and then it sits in the garage. We don't work that way. Then we have access to the radio programs, videos, audios, the support mechanism. And you're going to learn, and we have plenty of books authored by Doc Wallach and others, so you can begin to get knowledgeable and answer questions properly, like we never use the word cure, ever. Doc says...
Phyllis is looking at me right now because when we had that event, and I was in the front... And
I did. Were you...
I was just listening to Phyllis about, don't you ever use the word
Never
cure,
do
and then
that.
all of a sudden I'm in front of everybody trying to introduce myself and what was my problem before longevity, and then I said, well, it cured, oops. And then I looked at Phyllis, my bad. And then I was like, shame, I shouldn't be using that word, but anyway, yeah.
We can recite what Doc Wallach or other professionals say. Doc says, no, we never use a cure word, but you can get 100% better. And
wow, so it's almost like the same.
Well, you have to see, what we're dealing with here is the Food and Drug Administration.
Yes,
and if you get out and become syndicated like Doctors Don't Lie is, you say we can't use the word disease with one of our products. You can't say diabetes in one of our problems or arthritis. It's against the law. You can't do that. We can say joint issues or blood sugar issues, but we can't name a disease. And
wow.
Anyway, can I run a couple more little items by you? Do you have enough break to go?
No, go ahead.
Okay. He'll tell us what we need to do anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Lawrence is the man.
I would like to mention something else about this marvelous company and what it's done. Several years ago, Doc Wallach, along with his scientific board, submitted scientific information to the Food and Drug Administration claiming the benefits of selenium. And in one of the shortest turnarounds ever in the history of the FDA, Longevity hired an attorney, a Fourth Amendment attorney by the name of Jonathan Ebord, who lives in Washington, D.C., took it to the FDA. In less than 6 months, we got approval because of the scientific information backing selenium. So I can now say this okay on the radio, that selenium may prevent certain kinds of cancer. And so can any other company that's involved with health. They can make that same claim, but Longevity is the one who paid the bill. They're the ones that provided the evidence and the information. And a second one, it's equally as important, same thing, took a little bit longer to get the authorization, but we can now make a legal claim that essential fatty acids may prevent certain types of heart disease. We can say that legally. That's all done as a part of the Longevity company and the marvelous things that it's
the one in that little container that's with the Healthy Pack. That's the one. That's the fatty acid. EFA plus. Yes.
Anyway, with that, you can see why we've been at it so long. And there's nothing like I tell all these stories because we've taken thousands of calls over the years. But if I can, a quick one. It was a fellow in Tennessee actually, and he called. Of course, I always bring up the acid reflux, because usually I want that stuff for diabetes. I said, well, let me ask you this: do you have acid reflux? Yeah, but I want that stuff for. I said, no. And we're going to deal with your digestion first, because if you don't have good digestion, there's no need to spend your money on anything other than that. And I remember he called me back. It was 3 or 4 weeks later, because we got him the Longevity enzymes. Marvelous product, very inexpensive, marvelous product. 100 milligrams of butane hydrochloric acid plus the enzymes for hydrocarbons, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And he called me back a few weeks later, and because he had been on Tagamet and all that stuff for over 20 years, he said, "You gave me my life back."
Oh, wow!
See, that's the type of stuff. And this is all, they voluntarily come forward to tell us these things. That's how unique this company is.
Right.
It's quite unique. And other funnels, by the way, do you know who Mary Lou Henner is?
Yes.
Okay. And some of your audience will say, do you know who Mary Lou Henner is? Okay. She's on board with Longevity as well. And then we just came back from Baltimore, Maryland, where we had a local regional convention.
She was there, right?
Wow.
She was there.
And Drew Pearson was there.
Yeah,
he knows Drew Pearson.
Football player.
Wow, he's with Longevity, and we were just absolutely in stitches. What great people! But this is the class in the
caliber. Were you at the Red Rock convention?
Oh yeah,
were you?
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah, we were there. I was there.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
But I want to encourage your listeners, if you're dealing with some health issues, be sure to give Tony a call. And she'll direct you also, and you're welcome to chat with us as well. But most importantly, call her. And there's a marvelous business opportunity here.
Yes.
And if I can, I'm going to really make a leap here, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I'd like to see you interview this fellow Randy Gage.
Randy Gage.
This is a book written about the future, especially with regards to technology and how technology is changing everything. And in his book, he's commenting here, this is the golden era of network marketing. Because network marketing allows you to start a business with minimal cost. You don't have to go rent a big building and get insurance and pay the electricity and employees and all that stuff. None of that is necessary in network marketing. And then he's commenting where all the jobs are leaving. You see all these malls and everything, or how empty they are.
Yes, right. Yeah, this office is empty.
It's terrible.
Yeah, they're all
and people
empty.
are giving their life savings to
It's
start little
devastating.
businesses. It's just sad.
Yeah.
But one of the things he says here, if I can find this now, it's right up here. He said network marketing is perfect for this. In other words, he was just talking about the importance of how to rethink how to go into business, and don't think in terms of the big box and all the high costs, because Amazon, I mean, it's always it's going to the internet.
Everything is.
And he quotes
Looks
here.
like it.
I was doing a poor job of prefacing this, but network marketing is perfect for this, and it's the perfect distribution model for the new economy. This guy would be a wonderful guest for you.
Yeah, I have to write down the name.
Yeah.
Like
But anyway, last
we're-
week
we're-
it was getting, network business is getting really
Yeah,
big.
It's booming.
Well, it's huge, and you have to be, and you also want to be careful, because most of them, half of them, don't make it, and the management's not
Or
right, and
some of them, let's just say it's scam.
Yeah.
But anyway, I am so glad that you were here, but I want you to come back in a
Sure.
later date.
Anytime.
Where and how can they contact you?
Well, why don't we have them contact you?
Okay.
No, the proper thing to do is to call Sonia. That's why I was saying that.
Yes.
And if something comes up where you need a little help, then holler at her. We'd be more than happy to help you. More than happy to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm glad that you live here in Vegas.
We're here in Las Vegas.
Yeah. It's like when Ted Soriano said, you need to get in touch with Andy. I said, he used to have a radio show, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. So I said, really? How come? You know how long ago is that? But you need to he was really emphasizing that I need to contact you.
They're just, he and his wife are just...
Oh, yeah, I love
all
this
aces.
couple. I love them.
No, we evacuated California in 2001, and we could see politically, culturally, and economically, and I'm born native California. My wife's from Boston. But we left and came to Las Vegas in 2001.
Oh, okay.
I think our
but
clock is
anyway,
about up,
Phyllis and Andy, I love you guys. I thank you for for joining us tonight. And I will be calling you soon again you don't have to come here. You can just, on the phone, but...
I would prefer to come down.
Okay.
No, as a radio professional...
we prefer that too.
As a radio professional, your quality to your audience, if we sound like we're in a tin can because we're on a telephone, they'll dial right out. They'll leave you. They want good quality. He'll tell you that.
But anyway, again, I thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I hope that you will come back soon. And I will be calling you,
Just
too.
give us the word.
I will be calling you, Phyllis. Okay, we are going on our second break, and we will be right back with our second guest, Sandra Champlin.
Imagine waking up each day fully motivated, vital, and energetic, and having that unmistakable glow of great health. It is our mission to achieve overall wellness and wealth goals. Youngevity's 90 for Life supplements is fundamental to have a healthy life. At Youngevity, we are dedicated to bringing you the finest array of nutrition and lifestyle-related services to enrich your life and help you live younger, longer. Youngevity also promotes healthy-looking skin. They have mineral makeups that are 100% toxic-free, giving you a fresh, radiant, younger, natural look. Look great, feel great.
For more information, please contact Sonia Lising-Cahalan at 702-321-4211 or at soniacahalan.my90forlife.com or Jerome Season at 702-203-0699 or jeromeseason.my90forlife.com. This is Sonia Lising-Cahalan, your host for Now You're Talking with Sonia and Joy. We invite you to listen to our show every Saturday, 6 to 7 p.m. We will talk about health, hot topics on current events, special guests, a touch of fashion, beauty and fitness, and much more. Please call in and be a part of this show and have a cool blast of fun and entertainment. Remember, Now You're Talking with Sonia and Joy is every Saturday, 6 to 7 p.m. Brought to you by Youngevity 90 for Life Elite Life Las Vegas team. my favorites on longevity is the HGH, short for Human Growth Hormone. If you are 30 years or older, I highly recommend this for you. If you want to look younger, feel younger, mentally alert, reverse your aging process, improves skin elasticity, removes wrinkles, increase bone mass, have the energy of a 21-year-old. This beats Botox injections or plastic surgeries, and it's all natural. Contact me at sonialc@hotmail.com. Joy?
Thank you, Sonia.
Would you like to introduce our next guest?
Well, again, I'd like to thank Andy and Phyllis Anderson for sharing their great experiences with longevity. They sure made Sonia's dream come true. I know you have been talking about them
Oh,
forever.
my God, they're awesome couple.
Well,
Really.
moving along, I am glad I have the opportunity to introduce our next guest, Sandra Champlain. Sandra is the #1 international best-selling author of We Don't Die, A Skeptic's Discovery of Life After Death. A fear of dying and a massive dose of skepticism led Sandra on a 15-year journey of discovery for proof of life after death. Through the disciplines of science and medicine, she uncovered the clear, undeniable truth that we don't die. However, kept this information to herself, fearful of what others might think. The death of her father caused Sandra to investigate the painful world of grief. Her findings have lessened pain, helped save relationships, and prevented suicides. Courageously, she now shares her journey and awe-inspiring stories with audiences for the first time. Sandra travels the United States and Canada as chef for many world-class race car teams, including Andretti, Rahal, and actor Patrick Dempsey. She owns Kent Coffee and Chocolate Company in Connecticut. Without further ado, let me introduce a speaker, author, and entrepreneur, Sandra Champlain. Hello, Sandra.
Hello,
Hi, Sandra.
And Joy. Hello,
Hi,
ladies.
how are you?
I'm doing great.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
doing
That's awesome.
You have a great voice.
Oh, well, thanks. And you just mentioned that I cook for these race teams, and I travel with my mom, and we're currently en route to Austin, Texas. So we have pulled over so I could be on the radio show with you right now. So I'm on my way to a race.
Oh, we feel so special.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners, including myself and Sonia, would like to know more about your journey researching life after death. It's a very controversial topic, right?
Wow.
Oh, really controversial. You read my
Wow.
introduction? And to be honest, I was so fearful about what people would think about me if I came forward with this information. But like you read in the intro, because I had uncovered so much about grief, I really didn't care what people thought. I knew that this information had to get into people's hands because, yes, it's helped families not split up. You know, when there's a pain caused by a death in the family, it's helped people ease the pain of grief. And then when people started reporting that they chose not to end their own lives, it suddenly became this message is much more than Sandra. So get over being afraid and just step out and share.
Well, Sandra, tell us, what made you start researching again life after death? Is it because of the death of your father? Or?
No, actually, it was way, way back before that. It was back around 1996, and I just developed this fear of dying. Have you guys and your listeners had the experience of looking up at the stars and who am I? What is my life for? What's my purpose? Is there a meaning to me? And I had lost my grandfather. I had some pets that had passed away. And it all, and my life wasn't going so great at the time, and it just all came to a head, and it's just, it developed as a fear of dying, and I couldn't rest because this thought just kept coming into my brain. What happens next? Will Sandra go on when I die?
Wow. Well, Sandra, what evidence did you find that we don't die?
Well, the first thing I uncovered is the subtitle of my book is A Skeptic's Discovery of Life After Death. And you guys know it, your listeners know it. Inside of our heads, we all have this little voice inside of our heads that says, that's right, that's wrong, I'm not going to believe that, that's true, that's false. We all have it, and my little voice from my past had a faith in God. We grew up Catholic, but never believed anybody that was in psychic, mediums, anything like that. So I got the opportunity to see a stage show of a medium. Now, I went just for fun with a girlfriend because she wanted to see, and this medium was telling people really accurate about their deceased loved ones. So the skeptic in my mind, my little voice was saying, oh, it can't be real, these people are plants. But ladies, this medium was so accurate. I mean, so accurate it gave you goosebumps. And I decided to fly to California and take a personal course with this medium because she promised if you attend this class, you are somebody who can effectively tell the deceased people around others. Now, one part of me said, no, can't be, impossible. The other part of me, who was afraid of dying, said, well, what if? What if? So that started me on the journey, and I can tell you briefly, I had no expectations of this actually being real. But the first thing she had done is she had each one of us take a partner and make believe we were mediums. She says, we aren't really doing it yet. This is just how we would do it once we start. So she took all the fear away, pick someone you don't know, and I sat knee to knee with this woman I had never seen before, held her hands. She says, imagine that there's this golden light, this energy between your hearts. So she says, it's got to be a safe place. You have to quiet the busy mind. And then she says, just use your imagination and simply invent a person, maybe behind your partner, and tell a story. Now, again, Sonia and Joy, she told us we weren't really doing it. This was just 100% use your imagination. This was practice. So I'm very creative. As you know, I'm a chef. So I created, standing behind my partner, again, purely in my imagination, that this woman had a grandfather. His name was Jan. He was a fisherman in Denmark. He had a big gap between his front teeth. He had really windburned skin, blonde hair, blue eyes. He died of lung cancer, and there was a special message that she was supposed to give the mother from this guy, from the grandfather. So being the good girl, I opened my eyes. I said, okay, it's your turn, to my partner. And there's just tears going down her cheeks. Her grandfather's name was Jan. He was a fisherman in Denmark.
Oh, my
he
God,
died of
amazing.
lung cancer. Every detail. And that message was something he had never told his own daughter when he was alive. So that opened the door. I had a weekend studying with this medium that I was right maybe 30 to 40% of the time because it does appear just like our imagination. But from there, it still wasn't enough to open my mouth to tell anybody because, you know, I used to think people were crazy that believed in this. So certainly I was not going to say, you know, I took this course in mediumship and people say, well, Sandra, who do you see around me? And then I'd be wrong and they'd laugh. So I started studying who else is out there, and I uncovered, we've all heard about near-death experiences, and the skeptics would say, that's just when the brain shuts down. You see this white light, and you might see some deceased relatives, and that's a normal part of your brain shutting down. Well, there are hundreds of thousands of examples of near-death experiences that people very vividly saw things that were happening that they couldn't normally see because they were in an operating room. Well, a doctor named Kenneth Ring took the experiment one step further. He studied blind people that never had sight, never, ever, ever, born blind, and with a near-death experience, they very accurately saw deceased loved ones. They could tell what the living were wearing. One woman could see her husband in the waiting room of the hospital have a conversation with the doctor. She knew what color shirt the husband had on. She saw that the doctor dropped his pen. The husband bent over to pick up the pen. Saw it very accurately, and meanwhile she has never had sight.
Wow.
So even that wasn't enough. So I mean, there's physicists, there's different kinds of doctors, there's my book is 283 pages long. So
I have a particular question for you, Sandra.
Everybody together in the field of life after death. What's your question?
My question, and I really want the answer to this one. How does grief impact our relationship and our brain?
Oh, great question, because this is what had me write the book. When we experience a loss, and it could be a death of a loved one, it could be loss of a job, could be change in your financial status, a divorce, we go through the grieving process. Our brain has to readjust to the new reality. And this is maybe a poor comparison, but a lot of people can relate to this. If we are addicted to, say, a drug or alcohol, if we're dependent on it, and all of a sudden we don't have that substance anymore, you can imagine the withdrawal process that the brain goes through.
Mm-hmm.
Well, grieving is very similar. We are addicted by love to whatever it is or whoever it is, and when that person, or like I said, you grieve heavily, most heavily when you have a death, but grief can surface in different forms. Our brain loses a bunch of its chemicals. In fact, a healthy brain has, say, 100% of active chemicals and neurotransmitters, drops to only about 10% while we're grieving, and in some cases of severe grief, even less than that. So what that means is there's anger, there's depression, there's sadness, and those of us who have experienced grief know this. There's feelings of guilt. There's replaying a situation in your head over and over and over.
Well, the reason I asked you that question, Sandra, is because I don't know if you knew, I lost my son, and all those stages.
I do know that.
Okay, those stages that you just mentioned, like first it's anger, and then depression, and then what's next to that? Because I went through all of those.
The problem is they don't necessarily go in a certain order, and there's lots. And I want to just throw this in because I know our time is tight. I have a website called WeDon'tDie.com, and I had created a free audio called How to Survive Grief, and it's still there to this day. Over 10,000 people have listened, and it goes through grief, how to ease the pain, understanding these brain chemicals, because it's not just our own physical, like what we're feeling. What we don't realize is that it impacts our brain, our memory, our communication, our perception. So if you and I are both experiencing the loss of the same person, we might think we're talking about having the same conversation, but you're storing it one way, I'm storing it another way. And ladies, that's where all these fights come about. And you hear so often couples get divorced if they lose a child. So many siblings separate when a parent dies, and it's all dealt because of these miscommunications, these arguments surface.
I actually can relate to that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what an incredible interview, Sandra. I wish we have more time to talk.
Oh, it's okay.
I've read the stories you were sharing with us today was all in your book. I have started reading the book. Actually, I'm halfway done, and I sincerely enjoy reading your book. Especially, it gives me a better understanding of why we should live our life to the fullest.
Right.
Why we should be a better
life
person
is too short.
and more.
Right.
And there are
and
homework assignments that you have on the back, which I've tried and I've followed, and the results are just amazing for me.
Where can we find your book, Sandra?
The book is available Barnes & Noble, Amazon, your favorite bookstore. You can download it, Nook and Kindle. But I just want to leave your listeners with, it's not a grief book. It's not just a life after death book. It's who are you, what is the meaning for your life, and how to have the best life possible while you're here on planet Earth. And it's a fun read, too.
Thank you so much, Sandra. I wish you would, I hope you would come back.
We can have her back soon, hopefully.
Longer time.
Thank you.
And thank you, Sandra, for joining us tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. Speaking about Barnes & Noble, I was just on a book signing event this morning, and thank you to the Barnes & Noble Henderson for having me today for my book signing event. It was a very exciting, and thank you to Tanya Marie Kathleen, and most especially to John III for keeping me company. Thank you for all your hospitality and all your help. I appreciate you guys very much. And also to my editor who made all this happen, James Kelly. And any more? Anything?
Well, yeah, real quick, real estate update. According to RealtyTrack.com last month, Nevada climbed back into the top spot as the state with the nation's highest foreclosure rate. It was reported that 1 of every 359 Nevada housing units in August was the subject of a new foreclosure filing, defined as notices of default, notices of pending trustee sales, and repossessions by banks. Folks, you don't have to get to this point. There are options out there for you. Please call me and I can help. Check me out at www.joyh.cbvegas.com or call me direct at 702-883-9900. Again, my cell number is 883-9900.
Okay, Joy, I have a shout out, but anyway, our guest for, I'm so excited, that's why I'm rambling right here. Our next week's guest is, guess who? Roslyn Pacheco. She is going to be here with Ann Travada, and she is going to be in our studio. I am so excited, and finally we can meet, because I've met her. She hasn't met me. Not met her. I've seen her during those events, but you know, like one-on-one.
And they are the Longevity Angels.
They are the Longevity Angels,
right?
LA Talk Radio, and I am so excited. And you guys, if you guys are listening, hello. And also, who is our guest next week?
Surprise.
Surprise. Okay, I have a little beauty tip for you. It's a very short one. If you put on a heavy makeup, eye makeup, very heavy, like smoky eye makeup, don't match it with a very dark lipstick. It has to be a lighter lipstick, or vice versa. If you have a dark lipstick, then you have to wear very light eye makeup. That's it. That's my beauty tip for tonight.
Awesome tip.
And well, I guess it's
that time again.
Almost time for us to go. It is so quick, and my goodness.
Well, I guess it is that time again for us to say good night. Thank you all for staying on for the hour. We enjoy keeping you company at home or work. To my family, you are the best. I love you all and will love you always. Everyone, keep your head up high. Until next week, I will be signing out for now. This is your co-host, Joy.
Thank you, Joy. This is my thought for the week. Life is a series of tests that helps us heal and grow. It is after we have passed each one that we know in our souls that we have healed and grown, and that the tests were worth the struggle. A big thank you to our guests, Andy Anderson, Phyllis Anderson, and Sandra Champlain for joining us tonight. A huge thank you to all our listeners for hanging out with us as well. If you guys had fun tonight, we had 10 times over as much fun as you did. Please come back again next week, same time, same station, here on KLAV 1230 Radio on the AM dial. This is Sonia saying, take time to appreciate what you have before time makes you appreciate what you had. Take care and be safe. Have a terrific weekend, everyone.
Ray J, Bob Brackens, yeah, ill will. I make you yell when we texting. 143 is what you send me when we texting. I ball and pop, but I'm just looking for some love in the club. 143.